Greetings all. In what ways could Morgoth return? The world of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Middle-earth is rich in lore, history, and intricate narratives that explore the eternal struggle between good and evil. Central to this mythos is Morgoth, once known as Melkor, who stands as the epitome of power corrupted by malice. Although he was ultimately defeated and banished beyond the gates of the world at the end of the First Age, his legacy looms large over the events of the Silmarillion and extends into the Lord of the Rings. This video seeks to explore how Morgoth could potentially return to Middle-earth, examining both textual evidence and thematic connections that underpin that possibility. The return of Morgoth, one of the most formidable antagonists in Tolkien's legendarium, might seem inconceivable at first. The narrative arc culminates in his defeat, yet his influence continues to permeate the fabric of Middle-earth long after his banishment. To understand how Morgoth could return, one must first comprehend the nature of his defeat and the underlying principles of Tolkien's creation. Morgoth's downfall at the hands of the Valar, the godlike beings in Tolkien's cosmology, is not merely a tale of physical defeat but one of moral and spiritual degradation. He was brought low, yet his essence could not be wholly obliterated. Instead, Morgoth's spirit, steeped in pride and corruption, became a lingering shadow that still affects the inhabitants of Middle-earth. His influence persisted in secondary antagonists and the dark forces that arose in subsequent ages, from Sauron to the various forms of evil that combated the Free Peoples. The theological undertones of Tolkien's work emphasize that evil cannot be unmade, it can only be restrained or transformed. Thus, while Morgoth himself may not simply return as a physical entity, the potential for his return could manifest in various ways. This concept of a lingering, insidious evil parallels the cyclical nature of history in Tolkien's universe, where the struggles faced by individuals and cultures are inherently repetitive and connected. The past continuously informs the present and consequently, the future. A vital aspect to consider is the established lore concerning Morgoth's imprisonment. Following the War of Wrath, the Valar, in their considerable power, cast Morgoth into the Void, a timeless, formless realm beyond the confines of reality. Various interpretations arise regarding the nature of this void. It has been suggested that this is an entirely separate dimension where Morgoth cannot influence the material world directly. However, the idea that he could somehow escape or leave a remnant of his power, given the right conditions, cannot be entirely dismissed. To ponder a possible return for Morgoth is to wrestle with the potential for resurrection or reincarnation of evil influence. The notion ties into the idea of evil as an ever-present force, seeking new vessels across ages. The chaos of the Second and Third Ages itself could be viewed as echoes of Morgoth's malice reverberating through the world. Sauron, Morgoth's most devoted servant, embodies this lingering evil. His rise after Morgoth's fall presents the argument that Morgoth, ever in chains, found a way to corrupt and manipulate the world through his former lieutenant. The question of whether Morgoth could return directly may also hinge on the fate of the Silmarils, the three holy jewels crafted by Feanor, which contained light from the two trees of Valinor. These jewels are integral to Morgoth's story, as his insatiable desire for them fueled his treachery and eventual downfall. Should the Silmarils ever be rediscovered or misused, it is conceivable that a dark force could emerge, a remnant or a new reincarnation of Morgoth's will, harkening back to the powerful motives that led him to madness and treachery in the first place. Tolkien's writings reveal his interest in the struggle for power over objects of great significance. The One Ring serves as an example of how a singular artifact can tether an individual's will to a more significant, malignant influence. The parallels between the Ring and the Silmarils invite speculation regarding their potential connection to Morgoth's potential return. In the ever-repeating cycle of history, the temptation arising from powerful artifacts or remnants of Morgoth's influence suggests that while Morgoth may not return outright, the echoes of his essence could shape future evils. The characters cultivated in Tolkien's expansive world also illuminate the potential for Morgoth's re-emergence. The resilient heroes of the Lord of the Rings like Frodo, Sam and Aragorn represent the enduring fight against despair and moral decay that Morgoth embodied. Yet the presence of flawed and corrupted characters such as Gollum and Saruman highlight the complexity of good and evil. In a world where choices abound, it is not the absence of Morgoth that protects Middle-earth but the vigilance of its inhabitants. Through his works, Tolkien suggested the idea that legacies of both good and evil are passed down through generations. The struggle against Morgoth's ideology, domination, control, and the corruption of free will resonates through the hearts and minds of Middle-earth's inhabitants. As long as these themes persist, the potential for a return for Morgoth, whether through individuals succumbing to the power or dark sorceries reawakening ancient evils, remain a pertinent concern. In conclusion, while the outright return of Morgoth appears fantastical, the enduring nature of evil and the cycles of history imply that his influence has not been entirely extinguished. With the potential for remnants of his power to manifest in new forms and through avenues such as the Silmarils, one realises that Morgoth's legacy is woven into the very fabric of Middle-earth. As an ever-present reminder of the fragility of good against the seductive call of power, the possibility of Morgoth's return serves as an allegory for the ongoing battle between light and darkness, a tale that transcends the fictional bounds of Tolkien's creation and touches the heart of human experience itself. Thus, even in a world where Morgoth remains banished, the shadows cast by his malevolence loom ever closer, reminding all who dwell in Middle-earth to remain vigilant against the return of this ancient evil. This archive has now been fully decoded. Continue your journey into the librarian with the video displayed on screen. The vast wealth of the archives continues to reveal new knowledge of the history of the Tolkien verse. Now, we go on, Advan.